He's like my dad in a lot of ways. Once he and I got together, I knew that the combination was going to be magical.
We've had an unbelievable chemistry.
Really?
Sitting next to me right now is the best singer in the world.
This is not a drill. Clive Davis is dead. Right now, everybody line up, oldest to youngest. What happened? Get the biopics out now. He cannot hurt you anymore. He has no power over you.
For years, people have wondered about the mysterious note that Whitney Houston quietly handed to Brandy in front of Clive Davis shortly before her tragic death. The moment became even more chilling because only hours later, Whitney was found dead in her hotel room. Ever since then, fans have questioned what the note contained and whether it held an important message. Now, with claims that a documentary about Clive Davis could reveal new stories from artists who worked with him, interest in the note has grown again. According to these claims, some artists may finally feel free to speak openly about their experiences. Brandy had always said she would never reveal what was written in the note. However, recent rumors suggest she is now ready to share its contents, claiming it could point to possible foul play in Whitney's death. These claims remain unverified, but they have sparked fresh curiosity and renewed public discussion about one of music's most talked about mysteries.
Whitney Houston. Now, I knew you had a connection to her, but I didn't realize, and you write in the book, that shortly before her death, you had a lengthy phone call with her.
I did.
What was that call?
It mattered so much to me because I got a chance to tell her everything I hadn't told her, just how much she inspired me, how much I loved her, her impact in my life. And yeah, it was an emotional conversation. I didn't know it was going to be my last time speaking to her.
Clive Davis has reportedly passed away at the age of 94. According to the story, his publicist confirmed that the legendary music executive died peacefully at his home in Manhattan, New York, after dealing with respiratory health problems. His family shared a heartfelt statement, describing him as a music icon whose vision, instincts, and constant drive for excellence helped shape the careers of countless artists. They said his influence reached millions of people through the music he helped create and promote, and that his impact on the entertainment industry would continue to be remembered for generations. Even though Davis lived a long life and built one of the most successful careers in music history, reactions to his reported death have been mixed. Many people believe he deserves respect for discovering and supporting some of the biggest singers of all time. Throughout his career, he introduced audiences to talented performers and helped launch many unforgettable albums. His supporters see him as one of the greatest music executives ever. At the same time, others have criticized his role in the music business. Over the years, some people argued that the record industry under powerful executives often favored the companies instead of the artists. Critics have pointed to stories involving successful acts like TLC and Toni Braxton, who experienced serious financial problems despite selling millions of records. These situations have often been used as examples of how unfair record contracts could leave artists struggling while record labels made huge profits. There have also been claims from critics that Davis influenced other powerful figures in the industry, including Sean Diddy Combs, by showing them how to gain and keep control within the business. Some of these accusations include allegations of intimidation and unfair treatment, although many of these claims have remained controversial and have never been proven in court. Whitney Houston's relationship with Clive Davis has also been discussed for many years. Davis first met Whitney in 1983 at a nightclub called Sweetwater and signed her to Arista Records when she was only 19 years old. He became both her mentor and one of the most important people in her professional life. Together, they worked on her self-titled debut album, which became a worldwide success and sold around 25 million copies. Whitney later admitted that she and Davis often disagreed about which songs she should release. They argued over creative decisions, but she also spoke with gratitude about everything he had taught her. She described him as her industry father, saying she appreciated his guidance, experience, and support throughout her remarkable career, even when they did not always see eye to eye.
What was it? What did you see in him? What made him different? Why Clive Davis?
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom, his know-how. For a lot of artists, I wanted the guidance. I wanted to know, what made a hit record, and what made me, special, and it could be any song.
But as Whitney Houston's fame continued to grow, her career became much bigger than anyone had expected. Although Clive Davis had played a huge role in helping her become a star, his strong influence over her music and career eventually became something that limited her creative freedom. Over time, Whitney wanted to express herself more as an artist and make more of her own decisions. As a result, the relationship they once shared became distant. By 2012, they were no longer as close as they had been, and they barely had a personal relationship. During that period, Whitney trusted only a small group of people, and one of the closest was Brandy. The two first met in 1995 and quickly formed a deep friendship. Whitney became a mentor, role model, and source of encouragement for the younger singer. Their bond was so strong that Whitney made sure Brandy was chosen to play Cinderella in the 1997 television movie, allowing Whitney to play the fairy godmother. It gave them the chance to work together and spend more time with each other. Later, Whitney surprised everyone by appearing during an interview where Brandy, Monica, and Clive Davis were together. Most people believed she had simply come to show her support. Whitney greeted Clive warmly, spoke with Monica, and even mentioned that she had almost drowned earlier that day. She then quietly handed Brandy a note before giving Clive a hug. Whitney also called her daughter, Bobby Christina, over and asked her to hug Clive as well. According to the story, this was done to distract him long enough for Brandy to read the note and react without Clive noticing what was happening.
I felt it. Okay, 12 today. It's for you. 12 today. I have to. I'm just saying love it because I love it.
You can say it. Pay tribute.
This is my dad. It's my dad. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. Mom, come see her. Come say hi to Come say hi to your godfather. Come say hi to your goddad.
After the interview ended, Brandy reportedly spent nearly 3 hours talking with Whitney Houston on the phone. Just 2 days later, Whitney sadly passed away. Because of that, Brandy is believed to be one of the last people to have spoken with Whitney before her death. This has led many people online to wonder what was so important that Whitney reached out to her and what they discussed during that final conversation. Brandy has always respected Whitney's privacy and has refused to reveal what was said. She explained that the conversation was deeply personal and that she wanted to honor Whitney's trust. The only detail Brandy has ever shared is that Whitney promised she was going to get better. Sadly, that promise was never fulfilled, as Whitney passed away shortly afterward. According to the story, news of Clive Davis's reported death made Brandy look back on everything differently. It suggests that she had stayed silent for years because she was afraid of what could happen if she spoke out. The claim is that she feared being treated the same way Whitney allegedly was after she was no longer willing to cooperate with him. These claims remain matters of public speculation and have not been proven as fact.
In that 1995 meeting in Beverly Hills in the home of Clive Davis, who was responsible for the murder of Whitney Houston, I said it. His days are numbered.
One example often mentioned involves Michael Jackson. While working on his Bad album in 1987, Michael reportedly wanted Whitney Houston to sing with him on the song, I Just Can't Stop Loving You. Whitney was said to be excited about the opportunity because the two artists were close friends and shared great musical chemistry. Fans believed that a duet between two of the biggest stars in the world would almost certainly become a massive hit. However, the collaboration never happened. The official explanation was that scheduling problems made it impossible to record together. Years later, history seemed to repeat itself. Whitney reportedly wanted Michael Jackson to appear with her on If I Told You That. Once again, Michael was said to be interested in working with her. Yet the duet failed to happen. This time, the explanation given involved scheduling conflicts along with concerns about information leaking before the project was complete. Whitney reportedly believed these reasons were only excuses. According to people close to her, she felt the collaboration was intentionally blocked because working closely with Michael might encourage her to seek more creative and financial control over her own career. Michael Jackson was well known for writing music, negotiating powerful contracts, and eventually owning the rights to many of his master recordings. That level of ownership was rare for artists during that era. Whitney did not enjoy the same level of control over her catalog or the financial benefits that came with it. Some people believe that if she had spent more time working with Michael, she might have become even more determined to fight for similar rights over her own music. Instead of allowing the collaboration with Michael to move forward, critics claim Whitney was encouraged to record a duet with Aretha Franklin instead. Since both singers were signed to Arista Records, this partnership also benefited the label. Some people have argued that this decision kept Whitney focused on projects that supported the company's business goals rather than her own long-term ambitions. While this view remains speculative, it has continued to fuel debate about how much control Whitney truly had over her career. Despite these challenges, Whitney reportedly wanted greater ownership of her music and a larger share of the money generated by her success. There were even rumors that she considered leaving Arista Records. Instead, she signed what became a historic $100 million recording contract in 2001. News reports described it as one of the biggest music deals ever made. According to leaked information, Whitney reportedly received a $40 million advance, while the remaining payments would depend on the performance of future albums and meeting specific contract terms. However, some reports later claimed that the label expected Whitney would struggle to meet those requirements. According to unnamed sources, the company believed she would never fully earn the entire amount promised in the agreement. Critics also alleged that as the music industry changed because of digital piracy and declining album sales, the label reduced its promotional efforts for Whitney's releases while using those market conditions to explain weaker commercial results. These claims have never been fully proven, but they became part of the larger discussions surrounding her later career. By the time Whitney reportedly recognized the situation and tried to regain control, many believed it was already too late. Reports claimed she owed the label nearly $20 million under the terms of her contract, while her music career had slowed significantly. At the same time, years of personal struggles and substance abuse had seriously affected her health. Her voice, once considered one of the greatest in music history, had lost much of its strength because of damage to her lungs, making it much harder for her to perform at the level audiences had come to expect. The most controversial claim is that Whitney had become more valuable to the company after her death than while she was alive. Some reports alleged that her recording contract included a death clause allowing the label to recover certain advances and limit future obligations after her passing. These claims have never been conclusively proven, but they continue to be discussed by those who question how the music industry treated its biggest stars.
Well, you're a very small minority, because if you knew Whitney better, you knew she was not there to perform.
Yeah.
This was her favorite night of the year. She came out every year. This party was so part of her.
So you're saying that she
so
would've...
that the family, we spoke to representatives of Pat, who was a manager, and Gary, who was her brother.
Her body was still upstairs.
But we dedicated the evening. Whitney would have wanted this party to go on any more than the Grammys should stop.
Whitney Houston reportedly believed that difficult times were ahead after the first alleged attempt on her life did not succeed. According to these claims, she wanted to make sure that at least one trusted person knew her side of the story in case she was never able to clear up the rumors or defend herself. Whether people agree with these claims or not, they have continued to spark debate among fans and those who followed her career. Many critics believe that the controversy surrounding Whitney exposed a darker side of Clive Davis's relationship with her. They argue that this situation damaged his public image because it raised serious questions about how some artists were treated behind the scenes. Since Brandy shared her thoughts about Whitney's life and career, more people have started looking back at Davis's influence and discussing the decisions he made throughout his time in the music industry. Some critics have gone even further, accusing Clive Davis of taking advantage of talented black artists. They claim that many musicians signed unfair deals, lost ownership of their master recordings, and struggled financially despite creating successful music. According to these opinions, only a small number of artists truly benefited while others were left with very little after years of hard work. Supporters of this view also argue that although Clive Davis helped produce many hit records, his influence did not always have a positive effect on the music business or its culture. They believe Whitney Houston showed him loyalty and trust throughout much of her career, yet she was not supported in the way she deserved during her most difficult moments. Some also feel that he placed limits on her artistic freedom instead of allowing her to fully express herself. These accusations remain the subject of ongoing public discussion, and many fans continue to debate what really happened behind the scenes and how history should remember those involved.